Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today we're going to talk about a fun topic, mainly a fun catalog from the fun auction. It says fun right on there, upside down, right side up. This is an auction that's coming up really quick after we make this video here, and it's something that I want to talk about, not just the auction itself really, but just auction catalogs in general. And you can get all kinds of books and stuff, as we can see. I got a bookshelf here that says that I own books. But when it comes to having a good time with collecting, auction catalogs is one of my favorite things. And we're going to go ahead and take a look. We're going to look inside this, but we're going to look at the digital version online because otherwise you can't. It's hard for me to clip all the photos and talk. All right, let's take a look. All right, so I'm on Heritage's website, and of course they've got all kinds of cool things for sale with their fun show coming up, Ancient World. But the catalog I had in hand was this one, so we're going to go ahead and look at this, the Fun Currency auction. And one of the things to notice right away about this is, of course, they've got a tab up here where you can look at past auctions, but we're on the current bid auctions, which is really what you want to be at, right? And right away, I'm just like, one of my favorite things. These notes here, this is called a marbled edge note. This is a colonial note that's put together by one guy, Ben Franklin. He provided the paper. But of course, the nice thing about Heritage website is that when you see a thumbnail, you can just hover over it and it gets bigger. But of course, the difference between a online and actually the catalog is now if I actually want to read about the item, I have to click on it and scroll, and they've got all of their stuff on here about bidding and whatnot. But then the description part, you have to get to, So here we go. This is the Ben Franklin distinctive polychrome or marbled edge. So this is a note that's something I've always kind of wanted and I have not owned. There was also a smaller size note that has some of that marbling to it, and so it is pretty cool stuff. Also, I want to point out the difference between an auction catalog, of course, and the online version is if you look at the left side here, you've got all of these different areas that you can click on and go through and see. So if you really only have interest in the War of 1812, I can click on that. There's one item, and it is this note here, which is already opening bid of $7,500, which is a note probably most of you have not seen or are not familiar with, and it's $7,000. So that's always also the fun thing about going through auctions, is just seeing stuff that you don't normally see and then seeing price points on it that just kind of blow you away. And there's other things that you can go through and you see and you're like, oh, that doesn't seem too bad. This note here from New Jersey, which is one of my favorite issues because it is a tricolor note, which is really unusual. Their estimate is $1,000 or up. Also, just so you know, in the online version, if I click on it again or I click on the zoom button, I can zoom in and get a really clear picture of what the note looks like. And so we can go and zoom and you can really see the texture on the note. And one of the ways you can tell notes are real, by the way, and not reproductions, is because you've got this ink is its own color. But this one's cool because it's got the red and the blue, and what a fun piece. Really cool. So there's some very specific items on this auction that I wanted to show you that as I thumbed through it, I found and I thought these are really cool. So we're going to flip some pages, so to speak, here. There's a whole section on encased postage, which is really fun. Of course, the most common type is Ayers, and you see those a lot, and they come in different denominations. There's a 10 cent, there's a 12 cent, and then you've got these older ones here with Ben Franklin on them. I like this one here, Joseph Bates Fancy Goods. And also, of course, you can take a look and you find out that some of them are pretty scarce. Look at those. This one's $500 and this one's $5,000. And two notes that look similar but are very different. I call them notes, but they kind of fit out in nowhere land when it comes to U.S. collectibles. They're very specialized, and if you collect different types of things, you can look at like these. If you're into medical stuff, Brown's bronchial trochus for cough and colds. There's a better looking one, right? So I know guys that they might collect only medical related items, and so they might not be collectors necessarily of encased postage, but there's a whole lot of these that are related to that. Here's Burnett's cocaine, Calliston. I mean, what? Of course, we're going to collect that. So a really nice selection, by the way, of these encased postage, which we don't see. This one's a 90-cent piece, by the way. Pretty cool. Standard coughing extracts, $6,000 opening bid. These are the type of things that I just think, well, it'd be fun to just find a box of these. I mean, some of them are expensive, but the last time I had one, it was one of the more common Ayers ones, and it was like a $300 to $400 type item. But one of the things that was cool about this auction as I went through it is, he has a lot of error notes, but he has error notes I've never ever seen. And what I mean by that is there's a bunch of error notes that he has on national banknotes. And you think about the different ways that you can collect, and this is an area I haven't even really thought about, but you can just collect. This one has an inverted print to it. You can just collect errors on national banknotes, and these are errors that are expensive, but on a national banknote they're like 10 times as pricey. All these inverted prints are really, really expensive. So you've got inverted prints, missing part of the print. We got some more. This is a shift, it looks like, misalignment error. He's got it on large size notes. I don't know what that one is. There was one in here that was, oh, here's cool. So this is a mismatch serial number. If you look closely, you'll see that the serial number is 64 in one corner and 62 in the other. Way to go, Dayton. Well, it's not their fault. They didn't print it. And what do we got here? This one is a mismatched serial number again. And by the way, if it's a mismatched serial number, one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to have an entire sheet full of these notes. So if there's one and they were in a sheet of 12, there's at least 11 other notes available out there in the marketplace someplace, assuming that they survived, right? That's a rather big assumption. Folding and printing errors on national banknotes. How cool is that? Selma, Alabama. What a neat piece that is. A little butterfly error here on this Philadelphia. New Philadelphia of Ohio. This is not the Philadelphia which you seek. We got some gutter folds popping up on here, which are really cool. Gutter folds, the paper was folded, then it was printed, and then if you unfold it, you have these big gaps. And gutter folds are always kind of cool. The more dramatic, the better, of course. This one I've never seen before. This is an offset print, which is technically just like a wet ink error where it leaves a reverse image on it. And there was another one in here I was thinking I was going to show you. This is a wild paper jam error. That era of me being able to speak was gone a long time ago. Oh, this one. So this one is cool because I didn't know what it was at first, because I'm not from Bartlett. It's misspelled town error from Bartlett, Texas, and it just says Bartlett. So it's supposed to be from Bartlett, and it says it's from Bartlett, which I find to be a pretty fun error. Typos. I didn't know there's lots of typos. Well, this starts at $2,500. All right, let's move on to something else fun. California, city of Compton. Here we go. California. These are not the droids I seek. I'm gonna skip. Oh, I wanted to show you some of my favorite banknotes here. These are going to be your gold certificates. So gold certificates have gold coin national banknotes. These banknotes were only printed in California, for California, and they actually have images of gold coins on the back, and no No one else got these. Just a handful of banks. I think it was like 7 banks in California got to have gold coins printed on the back of their notes. So that is super fun and very, very rare items. All right, here's a few more. So Petaluma, that's starting at 10 grand. Petaluma. There's a Sacramento that's starting at 13 grand. This is the most common one, the San Francisco charter number 1741. This one is still starting at 10 grand, which I find to be kind of a higher price point than what I thought. And mostly you just see them in $5 and $10 bills, occasionally the 20. And I think this auction had a really high denomination. Yep, look at this. Here's a $100 bill. This is super rare. $100 bill. Look at that. Very, very cool. And that is a minimum opening bid of $100,000. So let's all pool our money together, shall we? And seize the day. I wanted to go over some of these. Pennsylvania has some of the largest number of banknotes out of any state, but there's just an interesting variety of things. First of all, this auction, this collection, there are a lot of serial number ones, a lot of them. And so this guy obviously collected serial number ones. Now, what you'll see here is that the serial number one is down in the corner, and there's this other serial number because one of them is the federal number, and then the one is the serial number for this bank. And then these beautiful hand-signed notes. This is Ben Franklin flying a kite with the key on it. And of course, this is industry with electricity. They're gonna electrify the whole valley. All right, let's get back to some more crazy things about Pennsylvania. Did you know that there's a Blue Ball, Pennsylvania? Now, Pennsylvania has this whole area. From what I've been told, it's Amish land or Quaker, and they have some pretty fun names. Blue Ball is one of them, but then here's another one that's kind of fun, Dry Run. So there's just there's a whole lot of history that goes. Here's another serial number one, by the way. A whole lot of history that goes in that, and of course there's certain banknotes where it's just because of the names of the town that people collect them. So a lot of serial number ones. My goodness, this guy really had a lot. And apparently everyone in Pennsylvania kept their serial number ones. Where am I at here? Harrisburg, H-I-J. Let's go in order here. This is the one we're looking for. I had a couple of different guys I know that had some Intercourse Pennsylvania banknotes. They're always a popular name. So like I said, those are super popular. So a couple more things just to show you really quick, and then we'll be done here. Two more items that I have to tell you about. So one of the fun things about this auction is there are a bunch of notes from territories. And territorial notes are really, really cool. Now, what's fun is this banknote is from actually not Indiana Territory, Indian Territory. So for those of you who just love Western history, you really can't beat these. These are from before Oklahoma was called the Oklahoma Territory. It was called the Indian Territory. And of course that geography moved around a little bit, but you get the idea there. And that note is super rare. I'm actually surprised at how inexpensive it is compared to some other notes, probably because the population's available. They've got an opening bid here, current bid of $3,700. Of course, the buyer's premium is 20% on auctions nowadays, so not on all auctions, of course, but Heritage is at 20%. And so this banknote I find to be really cool. So if you collect different types of things, there are so many things in the banknote world, especially nationals, that you can collect if you collect paper money. Or if you collect coins even, there's just something for everybody where you can just buy one. All right, here's the white whale, folks. This is the note, though, that I've been waiting to show you. Puerto Rico at San Juan. And the last time they sold this like 20 years ago, it went for like $70,000. Back then, PMG I don't think existed. It wasn't graded. There's a little nip out of the corner here. But Puerto Rico only has one bank on it. Most all the notes are a red seal. This is a blue seal. But either way, all the Puerto Rico notes are really rare. They don't turn up for auction but once every, couple decades. And this is the type of thing that, I would look at and say, man, I really want to have one of these. And it's just so, so cool. Opening bid of 50,000, so 60,000 right away. And man, to me, this is the type of thing that, when it comes to rarity and what differentiates sometimes certain areas of the market, you just can't get more rare. I speak hyperbolically, of course. There are things that are more rare, but there's just something to me that's so romantic about a Puerto Rico note, that shows up once every 2 decades for the chance to buy it. Speaking of pooling our money, let's all go ahead and buy that. All right, so that's a view of some of the things that I found in this auction catalog. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Tell me what you think. Of course, nothing can replace the look, feel, and smell even of a really cool auction catalog. But I hope that was enjoyable for you. Also, let me know if there's something I missed that you really like about auction catalogs. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.